We've got to see a little bit behind the scenes of how we at the Treasure Box are able to do such a wonderful program for the community by bringing organizations together, by bringing volunteers together, and being able to serve those in our neighborhoods one person at a time. We're just really grateful that we get the opportunity to do this throughout Southern California and in parts of Arizona. So again, thank you for coming to check us out behind the scenes and seeing how we make Treasure Box a success, and ultimately how we build Treasure Box one community at a time.
This is very impressive. A smooth operation, David. Now, thank you for the tour and allowing us our cameras
Not a
in there.
problem.
Now, let's talk about phone numbers, because I know by now people are interested. Give me the phone numbers to make contact.
866-712-0925.
Okay.
They can call there, and if they don't have internet access, they can call there and find out the location closest to them where they can go and pay in cash.
And David, food stamp recipients are eligible for this as well?
We are currently working on that, Paul. Right now we are in the process of speaking with the SNAP program and the representatives to figure out how are we going to be able to do this. What we're planning on doing is actually, once we get the approval and get all the kinks worked out, we're going to pilot it at a couple of our sites locally here in Southern California. Once we get it all ironed out and get those kinks out, then we probably will offering on a more full scale. So I would say for people out there listening to just tune in, check our website periodically over the next couple of months.
Now, you can go on Facebook. You have a fan page on Facebook as well.
Absolutely. And I would, if you have a Facebook, we encourage you to check us out on Facebook, the Treasure Box. Become our fan. We're growing every day. That's a great way to share with friends and neighbors.
And typical. We want this to become viral in our community. We need people to tell their friends. It's not necessarily that you're the person who needs it, but you may know somebody. Now, it's time to take a short break. When we return, we'll find out more about the Treasure Box program of distributing affordable groceries. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Now is our time to work as one. To create something beautiful. To start again. To ease a burden. To provide hope where there was none. There's so many ways to create the good. What will you do?
Start creating the good by visiting iparticipate.org.
You know, it's that time of year again to clear all that annoying dry brush from around your house. In the event of a fire, dry brush is extremely combustible and can explode. By clearing brush 200 feet from your home, you create a barrier, lessening the likelihood of spreading a fire. I'll still be here when you get back! Get the message. Be prepared.
Welcome back to Aging in LA. Our topic today, the Treasure Box, a company that sells affordable, quality boxes of groceries at a hugely discounted price to anyone who wants them. Our guests are Mary Ann Richards, Regional Manager for Southern California and Arizona, and David Leonard, Community Outreach Representative for Los Angeles and Long Beach. Again, thank you for coming. This is fascinating. It's one of the most exciting new programs I've heard about, and yet it's not new, is it?
No, we've been around almost 2 years now.
That's, well, see, we got to get the news out, which means telling your neighbors and friends. And David, what are some hallmarks that a concerned person might see in a neighbor or a family member that says this program maybe is appropriate to help with their nutritional needs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anyone, if you know, I mean, and I have friends and family, you know, have gotten laid off in the last year or two.
Yes.
Maybe they're trying to get by on unemployment checks, which will eventually run out, those benefits. And so just really plugging it in and letting them know, I mean, ways, it may not only be neighbors, Paul, it could be if you are, your son or daughter is part of a soccer team, or the high school programs, or maybe the glee club at school, letting those moms know, or letting principals know, or soccer coaches know about it, to get the word out to them, because they, in turn, may know a family, or counselors.
And a teacher may see a child in school that's suddenly lethargic and suspect that these are nutritional needs. So that's important.
Absolutely.
That's important. It's also important that we recognize the .org characteristic here of the Treasure Box. Donations are accepted, correct?
Yes. And we have a Give a Gift program that we're very proud of. And if you don't need a treasure box, but you would like to bless someone who might, you can go on our website, and under the Give a Gift box, if you just click on that, it will take you to our community partners where they have clients that do need food. And for $30, you can bless a family for a week.
This is a really good idea. I can see you moving into like gift coupons that you can give to the pastor or
We're
the
looking into
priest
that.
or something.
Absolutely.
So just because, you know, some people, they feel a little hesitant to make an offer of help to someone thinking they're going to embarrass them or there's something humiliating. Although there's not when it comes to food, at least in my mind.
No.
I know when I see someone, a street urchin who wants money, I always say, this has to be for food. I'm not buying you liquor. I'm not letting you go buy drugs, but I'll go buy you a meal.
Right.
And what a cool way to do this.
Right.
Absolutely.
I would love to see that. Can you can you think about having coupons?
Oh, we're working on it right now.
I love it.
Yeah.
You hit it on
We're-
the head. We're
Sure.
already heading in that direction.
Yeah.
Because with a gift card, you can bless someone else, and then they can pick the month that they want to do it, or they box that they want, and so
The
it-
location they want.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. And of course, we do have a mobile society. And like, for example, if you have parents who live in a different community and yet you know are needy, this is a way for them to be able to, I mean, not only see fellow seniors, but get some assistance.
Absolutely.
We have parents that are buying it for their college-age kids.
Oh,
So instead of sending the money, they buy a treasure box and pick the location closest to them, and they go pick it up.
All right, David, tell me some of the people that you've come in contact with and what this program, the Treasure Box, has meant to them.
Oh, it's the stories go on and on and on. They're little nuggets and little gems that I love hearing that wake me up in the morning, you know, keep me up at night thinking, how can we serve more people? How can we do better? For one instance, I saw a gentleman one time at one of our local partner churches in the city of Downey, and he had 3 boxes, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of food. And so I'd ask him, I said, sir, how you doing? I introduced myself. I didn't reveal who I was. I just said, hey, how you doing? And I said, you got a lot of food there? He's like, yeah, you know. He says, I'm actually a landlord, and I have tenants who right now can't even make their rent. But I noticed that their kids are not even really eating, and the mom's been telling me they're having a hard time keeping food in the fridge. So he bought a box for every one of his tenants. He had 3 units. And he says, if they like this program, I'm going to buy them a box every month. Lo and behold, I went back the next month to help out, and there was the gentleman. You know, just paying it forward.
Paying it forward, that's it. That
Yeah.
is the key. We all need to count our blessings and then share them.
Absolutely.
That's true. How about you, Marion? You get to, now you're covering a larger territory, but do you get to see this face to face?
I do. There was a gentleman that calls me almost every month and orders over the phone. He's an older gentleman, so he doesn't have internet access, but he wants to bless people in his church, and he says, oh, I found another one, and his heart just is you know, troubled by the fact that they do not have food for their families. And so it's just so gratifying to be involved in this, where for $30, you know, people spend that on Starbucks in a week.
Oh, do they ever? Do they ever?
And they can feed an entire family. So it's really a beautiful thing to be involved
Well,
with.
and it's okay to make a minor sacrifice, too. You know, you could kind of remind yourself, I don't need to stop at the gourmet coffee shop today.
Absolutely, absolutely. And make a difference and an impact in the lives of a family. And really, you know, that may be the only food they got for the month.
And
well-
they will never forget that,
No,
ever.
well, and nor should they. But again, it's pay it forward. If someone's helped you, I know with my foundation, that's exactly the deal. If I help you, you help the next person in line.
Absolutely.
And that's what builds our country and makes it great.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask a question about, can people volunteer to come help? I mean, this has got to be labor intensive to pack up these boxes and get them to where they need to go.
Yeah. Actually, where the most volunteerism is needed is actually at the locations.
Right.
So one Saturday a month, you can see the Saturdays on our website. And you can contact the Treasure Box, and we'll be more than happy to get you into the right direction in your neighborhood. But you can call the church directly. We talk to many representatives from our partner organizations that say, you know, we need hands and feet to come help. So contact them and say, hey, I'm a neighbor, and I would love to come down and help one Saturday and help unload the truck, or help pass boxes out, or help an elderly or senior citizen that can't carry their box because it's a bit heavy to their car, and bless them that way. So there's a number of ways to serve.
I'm thinking of some of our traditional community groups, you know, Kiwanis, Optimus
Absolutely.
Moose, all the rest.
And they can
that
become-
can come out there. Now, unfortunately, we're out of time for today's program of Aging in L.A. Thanks so much to our guests from the Treasure Box, Marianne Richards and David Leonard. And now, it's time for today's Senior Stat Shot. For seniors, the benefits of healthy, nutritious eating include increased mental acuteness, resistance to illness and disease, higher energy levels, a more robust immune system, faster recuperation times, and better management of chronic health problems. Approximately 1 in every 3 seniors in Los Angeles has difficulty affording nutritious food, and 1 in 6 seniors receives food from nutrition programs and food banks in the city. According to a recent UCLA study, nearly 500,000 seniors living alone in California cannot make ends meet and lack sufficient income to pay for a minimum level of health care, food, housing, transportation, and other basics. Free of charge lunches are available on weekdays at the Department of Aging's multipurpose senior centers. You can call 1-800-510-2020, that's 1-800-510-2020, to find your nearest senior center. In California, the food stamp program is now called SNAP. SNAP cards can be used to purchase food from participating supermarkets, grocery stores, farmers markets, and special programs. Seniors age 60 or older may qualify for SNAP. To apply for SNAP, call Los Angeles County Public Social Services at 1-877-597-4777. That's 1-877-597-4777. To maintain a healthy diet, try to reduce the amount of salt, sugar, and fats in your daily eating. Increase the amount of fiber, fruit, and vegetables, and drink water regularly to stay hydrated. And that's today's Senior Stat Shot. I'm Paul Peterson for the Los Angeles Department of Aging, the people here at CityView Channel 35, and all of our guests on Aging in LA. Thanks for watching. We'll see you the next time. Marianne, thank you so much.
Illegally parked cars? Call 311, the toll-free number for non-emergency services. 311, your one call to City Hall.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today.
Hi, I'm Sadie. Welcome to the Pacific Palisades, and you're watching Channel 35. It's our city and our channel.
Labange, Mr. Parks, presentations, and then our council agenda, which has 14 items. Thank you. Mr. Labange, thank you for arriving. The children that are paying attention. Mr. Cardenas is teaching the students. Thank you, Mr. Cardenas. Another quorum call. This is a quorum call for City Council meeting for today, May 27th. It's now 10:03. Thank you. Mr. Koretz has arrived. Mr. Koretz is entering the chambers. We have excuses from Mr. Reyes, Mr. Rosenbaum, Mr. Smith. Mr. Krikorian's arriving at 11, and Ms. Hunt's leaving at 11:30. Other councilors, please come to chambers. Mr. Wesson, please come to chambers. Ms. Perry, please come to chambers. Mr. Parks, please come to chambers. Mr. Weezar, please come to chambers. Ms. Hahn and Mr. Alarcon. We are waiting you in council chambers to begin our meeting of the City Council meeting. We have 6 presentations and 14 items on the agenda. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are standing by for our quorum. It takes 10 to start the meeting. And we're now at Mr. Parks. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Parks. Mr. Parks has arrived. We're at 6. Need 4 more. We're going to go live. Good morning, Los Angeles. It's May 27th, Friday. This is the City Council meeting. We meet Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at City Council chambers. We have remote locations in Van Nuys and San Pedro. You can view us on Channel 35 or on the internet, www.lacity.org. That's www.lacity.org. This morning we have 6 presentations and 14 items on the agenda. We have some special presentations that will begin shortly. We do not have a quorum at this time. We want to thank the following members for being here on time: Mr. Cardenas, Mr. Koretz, Mr. Labange, Mr. Parks. I'm Councilmember Zine, and then Council President Garcetti. We are waiting the arrival of Council members Alarcon, Ms. Hahn, Mr. Huizar, Mr. Wesson, and Ms. Perry, waiting their arrival to begin our council meeting for today, Friday, May 27th. And we will begin shortly as soon as we get our quorum. Again, we are at 6 members. We need 10 to begin the meeting. And we'll put another call out for those members that are not here that are scheduled to be here, and that being Mr. Alarcon, Ms. Hahn, Mr. Huizar, Ms. Perry, and Mr. Wesson. Please come to chambers. We are ready to begin as soon as they arrive. Mr. Council General, the front row, please. The front row, please. Sergeant Arms will escort you. Mr. Huizar, Mr. Alarcon, thank you. Mr. Huizar and Alarcon have arrived. We are at 8 members. We will now start our presentations, and we're going to turn this over to Mr. Labange. And Mr. Wesson has arrived, and Mr. Garcetti and I are going to do a very special presentation. Mr. Labange, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome the Mayor of Los Angeles, Antonio Villaraigosa, to the John Farrell Chambers. Mr. Mayor, welcome to join with our President of the City Council, Mr. Garcetti, as well as Councilman Zine, for a very, very special presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Members and members of the public, we have a very special presentation here today. Goodbye to a dear friend who has, in a short period of being the Consul General for the State of Israel here in Los Angeles, has distinguished himself not only as a great representative of his country, but a great friend of Los Angeles. Yaakov Dayan came here 3.5 years ago, though it feels like he's been our Consul General forever. It feels like he has been that face, that warm handshake and embrace of an entire country here in Los Angeles, a great Israeli as well as great Jewish city. He has been responsible, I believe, for the largest in the southwestern United States, the largest population of Jews and Israelis outside of Israel. Something that's an incredible posting, a difficult posting, but one which he has not only been able to represent his country well, but do well by Los Angeles, too. I said outside he had been a strong representative for Israel, but he was also an amazing diplomat. The many times here in chambers with his fellow consuls general, out in the community, reaching out and building bridges. Close to my heart was in Boyle Heights, where both sides of my family, both the Jewish and Mexican sides, grew up. He's looked at a lot of the work that Mr. Huizar and others have done to bring that history together of the Jewish community and the Latino community. The way that he traveled, not just throughout Los Angeles, but his entire area that he was responsible for. He did an extraordinary job, and he's just been an amazing friend to us. And I know Paul Koretz said this outside, but it was something I was also thinking. You've not seen the last of Yaki. Yaakov Dayan is not only going to be somebody who continues to, I hope, visit Los Angeles, but also we will see him, I believe, on the world stage. He is one of those up-and-coming stars in world politics. I hope it is something that he does pursue down the line, continuing to represent his country in a variety of ways. But with his wife Galit, who is here today, and son Itai, they have been an indispensable part of our city for the last 3.5 years. So Mr. Zine and I want to present him and also recognize that our mayor is here, who I know has been his close and dear friend, and we're very blessed to have Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa with us as well. But Mr. Zine, then we'll hand it over to the mayor to say a few words as well as council members.
Thank you, Council President. And Let me tell you a little bit about our guest this morning who's leaving Los Angeles to go back to Israel. The office, Wilshire Boulevard, Los Angeles, Consul General of Israel in Los Angeles, Yaki Dayan, Senior Representative of the State of Israel in the Southwestern United States, assumed this position October 2007, serving through July 2011. And prior to this post, served as Chief of Staff, Deputy Prime Minister, and Foreign Minister. He also diplomatic roles in Washington, D.C. and Athens, Greece. Israeli Consulate in Los Angeles serves the largest population of Israeli nationals outside of Israel, many of whom reside right here in the city of Los Angeles and in my district and districts throughout the city of the Angels. September 2008, Israeli Consulate, led by Yaki Dayan, decided to raise the Israeli flag outside its office for the first time since the consulate opened in 1973. Thousands attended the event and celebration led by our mayor, Antonio Villaraigosa, and Wilshire Boulevard was blocked off, and that flag still proudly flies in front of the Consul General office on Wilshire Boulevard. Consul General Dayan has worked on enhancing economic cooperation between Los Angeles and Israel, especially in green technology and homeland security. And I can tell you about my trip to Israel, where we went through an experience of a lifetime with the Consul General and entourage led by the mayor of our great city, and it was an experience that I'll never forget. And going through, you forgot? How could you forget? That was an experience of a lifetime. I was with you, Mr. Mayor. We really enjoyed the relationships that were established, the people of Israel. It was just an incredible experience, and I'll never forget Friday night at the wall with the Israeli soldiers and the public and all dancing and praying. It was an unforgettable experience, and I do plan to visit Israel again. And being involved in that Middle East, the whole concept is, how do we establish peace right here from the City of the Angels? We should start that and help in the entire Middle Eastern conflict to establish peace, and that's what Israel wants, and that's what we want. The bridges that have been built by Yaki Dayan between Los Angeles, the Jewish and the Latino communities, highlighted by Fiesta Shalom at Israel's Independence Festival in Boyle Heights next to Breed Street. Shul is in the process of becoming a community center. Recently at the 63rd Israeli Independence Day celebration at Skirball, where our mayor was honored, we saw a lot of friends and family, and it was another wonderful experience. And just a couple nights ago, Israeli Federation had a wonderful event, a banquet at the Barker Hangar, and Mr. Koretz and I were there enjoying that. 1,500 people, just a wonderful experience. And I also want to acknowledge Paul Koretz, our colleague, who also helped sponsor this. And I came up with this idea. When I heard that Yaki was leaving to go back to Israel, I said, he's been so warm, so compassionate, so wonderful. We wanted to do it, so I contacted our council president and Paul Koretz, and we said, we're going to make this happen. And it's a delight to do this. Farewell to a very, very good friend. And I also want to acknowledge a plug for Marvin Markowitz at Factors Deli and the delight that they brought for the refreshments, and also Coffee Bean and Tea that provided refreshments for the reception that we held in the Rotunda. I wanted to bring this big sign out so people could see that. If we could bring that over here, it just shows the love that we have and what Yaki Dayan has brought to us. No, I want to hold it. Well, I don't want to. Well, anyway, it's all right. Here we go. There we go, Eric. Vanna White here. Vanna White. I mean, we're gonna save this because it's very special that we do a lot of acknowledgments here in City Council, and I would tell you this is one very, very special one. And being Lebanese and being Christian, being Lebanese, and honoring Yaki Dayan for what he has done and the peace that they want in Israel, and that's what I really want to foster, is have that peace throughout the Middle East, and we can start it right here. We can make it happen. So God bless you, Yaki, you and your family, and I will be there. I will be at your house. You will make me matzah brai, and we'll enjoy. So. Mr. Yeah, Paul Koretz, and then our mayor.
Well, I'll just say briefly the most notable thing about your term as Consul General, I think, relates to friendship. I think you've made more friendships and become closer to the Los Angeles community than anybody we've ever had as Consul General. Not only throughout the city, but with the Jewish community. You've done so many important things in a short time, so we all appreciate it. We'll all miss you. We'll all come visit you.
We're all staying together.
It'll be a busy place. And we know that you'll be doing great things. So when peace finally comes to the Middle East, I think you'll be Prime Minister and you'll be the one that'll have done it. So.
And please welcome our great city and our great mayor, Antonio Villaraigosa, who has been a great friend to Yaqui as well, to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for allowing me to come to the chamber once again. It's always great to be here with all of you, and congratulations to you, Ms. Han. Haven't had a chance to publicly say that, but congratulations. And you'll actually be able to vote on things that are important to peace in the Middle East and in support of peace and security for the State of Israel. So congratulations to you. Council President, Councilmember Dennis Stein, thank you for organizing today as well. I've said a number of times, and I'll take the opportunity to say it again, I've known all of the Consul Generals since 1994. I've had a particularly close relationship with Yoram, with Yuval, with Ehud, and every time that the State of Israel sends a Consul General here, they're ambassador-level diplomats, all very accomplished with long histories and long trajectories after they leave here in their stint as Consul General. And so when I remember having an opportunity to meet Yaqui, I think it was at a Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah dinner at the home of a friend. I remember thinking, wow, what big shoes he has to fill, because Ehud, if you remember, was a great representative of the State of Israel. And I remember Ehud, they were friends, I think, because he was such a big fan of yours. He said to me, don't worry, you're going to love Yaqui. He's going to do a great job for us. I really want you two to have the kind of relationship that you and I have had. And of course, Yaqui and I turned out to have an even closer relationship. We have become family friends. We've gone to Israel together. We have done many, many things together. And one of our proudest moments, I think his proudest moment, and certainly mine, was putting up the Israeli flag with Jack Weiss in front of the Israeli consulate. What a lot of people didn't know and don't know, and in fact a lot of Jews and Israelis didn't know, was that the Israeli flag does not fly in front of most of our, in fact, any of our consulates. There may be a flag at the New York Consul General's office on top of the roof, but in front of the building, the flag has not historically flown for reasons that I think we all understand, but not here. We all agreed that here in the City of the Angels, in the city with that is the most diverse city in the United States and maybe the world, the city with the largest Israeli population outside of Israel, the second largest Jewish population in the United States of America, that here we will fly, and we do fly the Israeli flag. And he and I put that flag up, hoisted it up in front of the Consul General's office, and I'll tell you, it was a proud moment for us, and it should be a proud moment for all of us, because the State of Israel and the United States of America have always had a very strong symbiotic relationship, one that will continue, make no mistake. We stand with Israel in dark times and good times, and America's freedom is connected with the freedom of Israel as well. And you know, Yaqui is passionate about his people, about the State of Israel. He's passionate about his family, his 3 children, one of whom is going to enter the Israeli military very, very soon, I think this summer, October, and we wish her the best. But I think as everybody has said, in fact, all of the speakers so far have said, something tells me that Yaqui Dayan is a name that we're going to hear again and again. Maybe on the diplomatic front, certainly on the political front. This is a man who the State of Israel has only begun to acknowledge in terms of his leadership. So it is with great it is with great affection that I present this, which is why I didn't read any of those notes that somebody wrote for me. Who wrote them for me, by the way? Oh, you wrote them. Great, Barry. You did a great job. I really loved them. It is with great affection that I present you, Yaqui, with this acknowledgement of your time here. You know, Fiesta Shalom, as was mentioned, was a great opportunity for us to connect the birthplace of Jews, well, at least the Jews who came in the 20s and 30s to the United States, to Los Angeles. They came to Boyle Heights, where I grew up, and the connection there with the Breed Street Shul, with a community that always still remembers those very days, with the work that he did and is doing, the connection between LA's best, the Jewish community and the Latino community. We acknowledge you, thank you, and wish you Godspeed. Touch it. Look at it. So I don't get there. A little lower. So all I can see is my nose.
That's the first time you haven't been able to see that. That's a first.
Mr. Garcetti, we have some council members who would like to speak as well, and I know our city attorney is there with you.
Our city attorney?
Yes, I understand.
I'd like to welcome Carmen Nooch Trutanich to say a few words as well. Nooch?
Sure. It's with great sadness that I bid adieu to Yaqui. You know, I had an opportunity just a couple of weeks ago to be a part, at least on a full basis, of the Israeli government. I had the opportunity to be a Israeli public defender in a trial of a Holocaust accused who was actually convicted in Israel after World War II at Temple, Israel. Rudolf Kasner. And there's a big controversy in history over Kasner's role during World War II as to whether or not he was a hero or a villain. And we actually tried it for 4.5 hours a couple of Sunday nights ago, and I was the defense lawyer for Rudolf Kasner. And it's interesting, he was convicted in Israel in the 40s, after the war. And in Los Angeles, to show you the fairness of the people in Los Angeles, after hearing the evidence, Rudolf Kasner was acquitted 267 to 26 by the people in the audience. And I know that history will be rectified, because if you are involved in future politics in Israel, that this is something that needs to be corrected. And I know that Yaqui is the man of that type of character that will bring that kind of fairness back to Israel, to change the history on this one man's role, where he saved 1,700 lives and possibly 20,000 others. And so, Yaqui, I salute you. You've done a great job in L.A. You've been the bridge between our culture here in Los Angeles and the Israeli culture, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Alarcon for remarks. Thank you.
I, too, want to extend my gratitude to Jacob Dayan for his service to Los Angeles. I do want to say that in 1999, I initiated a conference at Cal State Northridge called Fiesta Shalom. So first of all, let me thank you for continuing the dialogue between the Latino community and Israeli community and Jewish community in general. The idea was that we understand our cultures better, but also that we have an academic appreciation for the issues that our communities have. I also want to say that this Consulate General is, I don't know how to describe him, but you never knew where you would see him. He unannounced. He'd be out there in the community, and I remember seeing him, whether it be in blue jeans or a suit. Most people think a Consulate General is somebody that attends champagne dinners and talks to a bunch of dignitaries in a way that would put most people to sleep. But the reality is this Consulate General is out there in the community. I remember distinctly him being at a green day at an elementary school in, I believe it was North Hills in my district, or Panorama City, where the school was doing environmental stuff. He was wearing jeans, and I think there's probably 5 Jews that go to that school, but he was out there expressing his country's concern for that school, and I think it gave a much better appreciation for those students. And so we have a tremendous, we had for 3.5 years, and frankly, it seemed like it just went by in a blink. We have had a real community participant, and we want to thank you for being a part of our community. I only wish your son, who probably really thinks this is his home, and it will always be his home. So I hope he visits often. But thank you for your service, not only to the Israeli community, which is your primary mission here, but to the Jewish community in general, and to all the people of Los Angeles. That is, I believe, what an international representative is supposed to be, and you represented it well for your community, and I thank you for your particular service. Antonio, the mayor, and I went to Israel in, I believe it was 2000 or something like that, about 10 years ago with the Anti-Defamation League, and we had a great time in Israel, but most importantly, learning about Israel. I just wanted to share one funny story that the mayor shares in private quarters. We went with the guy from Paul's TV, Paul Goldenrod, and he Goldenberg, excuse me. He fell down at a base in the Golan Heights, I believe it was, and everybody rushed to his side, and because he hurt himself, and the mayor went, and he looked at the mayor and he said, "Well, Mr. Mayor, why all these people rushed to me, and you think you're hot because you're the Speaker of the Assembly?" And the mayor said, "No, why?" And he goes, "Because I am the king." And I just wanted to share that for the public. But let me just say to our representative from Israel, good luck. Thank you so much for your service. Your service will lead you to a great path. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Alarcon. Ms. Perry, please. Ms. Perry.
Consul General, and to your wife, you will be greatly missed. You were much beloved. You were deeply embedded not only in the Jewish community, but in the life of our city. I so appreciated your public discussions on the state of Israel and its relationship to the United States and importance to Los Angeles, to give us context of where we all fit in the world economy and why we need each other. And I look forward to meeting you all again, and you have changed our lives in many ways, both large and small, and thank you very much, and I want to say in public gratitude for all of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. Mr. Huizar.
Thank you, Mr. President. And to our beloved Consul General, the State of Israel was certainly well served by you while you were here. You not only represented the State of Israel, but you became part of Los Angeles. You also became part of Boyle Heights. I have many community residents who would call me and talk to me about you, that you went to this event and that event. You played basketball with them. You certainly have gotten to know Boyle Heights, and Boyle Heights has gotten to know you, and thank you very much for that. And our mayor and Council President Garcetti mentioned Fiesta Shalom, and certainly you were the leader for that. And we did it with style, and many people continue to talk about it, and what a wonderful event it was to once again have so many Jews walking the streets of Boyle Heights. And it was beautiful to do it with the new population there, majority Latino, and to talk about our common interests, our common history, and our common future. But you certainly have done a great job, and I see you not only as a representative, as a Consul General, but as a friend. You are a friend of the City of Los Angeles. You are Los Angeles. Thank you for your work, and this is not a goodbye. We know we'll continue to see each other, talk to you, and work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Huizar. Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Mr. President. Consul General, I just want to tell you we're going to miss you. I look forward every year to go to the Holocaust event. Your speech is always the showstopper to give that historical information and provide that balance for the community to be aware of. Also, the family of Pastor Ingram are still overjoyed that you had the opportunity to come to a local church for a local pastor at his going away. And so I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Ingram family, 8th District residents, and certainly we're going to miss you at the Holocaust event. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parks. Ms. Hahn.
Thank you. Well, to the Honorable Jacob Diane, Yaki, your beautiful wife, your adorable son, we bid you farewell. It's really a sad day. I am particularly sad. You have been such a beacon of light, of hope, of education to so many in Los Angeles and beyond, as Ms. Perry said, in terms of our understanding of how important the State of Israel is to the United States, to Los Angeles, and I've learned from you so much, and it has helped me to form my very strong position, one of which I'm proud of, and I'm unwavering in my belief of the importance of the friendship and the alliance between the United States and Israel, and how that must be protected at all costs. And every time there's an issue, whether it's our own president making a speech or whether it's some new incident or event in the Middle East, I always know that very soon I will hear you speaking. I will hear you on the news, on a radio station, being interviewed on TV as to what our response should be to these events. And you're always very clear, you're very on message about continuing to know how everything affects the State of Israel and where we should be on that issue. So thank you for your clear just message to us on how important the State of Israel is. And I was not able to travel with you to Israel, but my trip there as well was life-changing, transformative, and I know you and I had talked about my trip to Sderot and what that meant for me to understand the daily trials and tribulations that this tiny village experiences regularly, and how unfair that is and how tragic that is. And we all do hope and pray for peace in the Middle East, and it's something that we will continue to pray for, something we will continue to hope for. And we know that you're going to be a part of that. We know that you will be a part of forging that long-lasting peace. And it's just been such a great honor, such a great pleasure to have known you, and hopefully we'll continue to be friends and continue to rely on each other for our continued careers. So thank you very much.
Ms. Hahn, thank you very much. Mr. Krikorian.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Consul General, you are going to be deeply, deeply missed. And as you've heard from all of the heartfelt comments that everyone has given today, you have held a very special place in the heart of this city in the time that you've been here. And you've served the State of Israel in a way that very few consul generals succeed in serving their country, because you've been so ingrained in the fabric of this whole community, and you've been an absolutely incredible spokesperson for the interests of the State of Israel. You know, Israel, throughout its existence, has struggled with challenges that very few countries in the world have ever had to contend with. And one of those challenges is the way Israel is misunderstood by those who haven't been on its soil, who haven't interacted with its people, who haven't seen the proximity of its enemies. And you have been able to be an educator, I think, in the time that you've been here, and have really helped all of us to understand how connected we are to the Israeli people here, but also how committed we must all be to the future of the State of Israel. And you've done that in a way that I've never seen done before by anyone. And so I wish you much success in your continuing career. I know that you're going to go on to accomplish great things for Israel, and by doing that, great things for all of us. And I'm grateful to you. I'm going to miss you, and I wish you all the best of success. Thank you.
And also to Jacob, very special family, very beautiful family. I just want to, you're joined by many of your colleagues from the Consular Corps, which is so special, from China, from South Africa, from Croatia, from Austria, as well as Japan and others, to show the love that you've developed in this city. And also the great sister city of Eilat, which is Los Angeles' second city, both in 1959, well over 50 years of people to people. Shalom.
Thank you. And if we could have the Consul Generals that are here bidding our friend a farewell, please stand, be acknowledged. Our Consul Generals and the Ambassador that we have from Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Parsan, who's here, bidding a farewell to our good... Please stand.
All the Consul Generals, please stand and be recognized by the City Council.
Many Consul Generals from different parts of the world here bidding our good friend a farewell. And also a couple of more acknowledgments from the California State Senate, from Senator Curran Price to Honorable Yaki Dayan, Consul General of Israel. With recognition and honor of your outstanding friendship, we thank you for your service to our community. On behalf of the State of Israel, wish you and your family a joyful return home. Signed by Senator Curran Price. Yaki, another gift for you from the people of the state. And there's more. We want those bags to be full when you go through the airport security. We now have from the City Council family, in addition to our mayor, our city attorney, all the council members, the official proclamation for you to remember the people of the city of Los Angeles, all the elected officials who respect, who wish you well in your future endeavors. And with the mayor's proclamation, our proclamation from the Senate, you could be the king of the world. Here we go. Your walls are covered. Here we go. Picture. Picture time.
And we presented a flag from the city of Los Angeles. The mayor did outside. For Yaki to remember. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in thanking for 3.5 years of service to the City of Los Angeles, the Honorable Yaakov Dayan.
Thank you. Standing ovation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm starting to feel like my Prime Minister of the Congress. Thank you. Thank you very much. As my dear friend Eric mentioned, this is a bittersweet moment. It has good sides, it has bad sides. You know, the good side is that ending my term, finishing my term, I can say whatever I want. The bad side is that no one really cares about what I'm going to say. But I'm going to say it anyhow. And there are so many people to thank. I really came to this amazing place, Los Angeles, knowing that this is the second largest Jewish community in the world, the largest expatriates Israeli community in the world. And I thought this is an important thing, important place for the state of Israel. And I have to tell you, each and every one of you, it exceeded my dreams, it exceeded my expectations, it exceeded everything that I was ever dreaming about. And one thing I have to promise you, my dear friend, Mr. Mayor, great mayor, raising the Israeli flag here was a pivotal moment in the life of the Jewish community. It was the first flag ever in the United States, in the streets of the United States, the Israeli flag, and I think that you should be very proud of that. And receiving now the Los Angeles flag, I have an idea. You'll come to Israel, we'll close my street. I'll raise the Los Angeles flag, and I promise you,
I like it.
I promise I'm going to be the ambassador of Los Angeles in Israel, because really, it's not only when Israel was in need and Israel was in a state of a problem, then the entire community here rallied for Israel, stood for Israel, raised the flag for Israel, was always there first for the state of Israel. But it was much beyond that. As my good friend spoke here, we created bridges to the Latino community that are extremely dear to my heart. We went back to the origins of the Jewish community in Boyle Heights, and together we formed a bridge for the future of the Latino and Jewish community. The president of LA Best, Carla Zinger, is here. And I remember first when we started working with LA's Best, the state of Israel started working with LA's Best. And at the beginning it was just the state of Israel working with the kids of LA's Best. But the second stage was bringing the Jewish kids here in Los Angeles together with LA's Best kids in the schools together, bringing them together. And I think that the strength and the importance here was that we went much beyond just standing strong for the state of Israel. But the philosophy of if we invest here in Los Angeles, and if we work together here in Los Angeles and we do projects that will benefit the city of Los Angeles, that will benefit the state of Israel, and that will benefit the friendship. And each and every one of you here played such an instrumental, such an amazing role in bringing the communities together, in bringing this country of immigrants, the state of Israel. And I'm standing here, I'm a son of 2 immigrants. And many are here also, sons of and daughters of immigrants. And together, we brought those values, those immigrants together for the city of Los Angeles. And I think that that's what made my stay here in Los Angeles so unique. Because when we went and visited your sister in the shelter for the homeless she's running, and we thought about projects that we can do for the homeless of Los Angeles here together with the state of Israel, and how much the Jewish kids benefited from the meeting the LA's Best kids, and many other projects. I think that it really enriched and brought the special relationships between this very unique place and the state of Israel to a much deeper and stronger place. And I think that this bond that I'm taking from here, and I'm in debt to each and every one of you, because I've been transformed. I have to tell you, I came here and I knew it's a strategic and important place, but I'm coming here knowing that the future of the state of Israel is going to be better and stronger, because there are people like you here in Los Angeles standing together with the state of Israel in times of joy and in times of agony, together. And I want to thank my amazing team that is here, each and every one, for doing such a wonderful job. Please, can you stand up? You know, Councilmember Alacon, you said that I'm I was everywhere. The ones who paid the price were they, because they had to be everywhere as well. And they worked night and day to make sure that the relations between the city of Los Angeles, the great city of Los Angeles, and the state of Israel are so much better and stronger. And I couldn't have done my job without the amazing community, people like Marvin Markovich, who is sitting here, and other people that really, whenever we did projects together and I needed support, they were first to stand there and to support those projects. And a special, special thanks for my wife, for her, Galit. That is not only the love of my life, but always there to stand and to give me the best advice that I need. And the patience of my kids, Itai and Tal and Daphne, that missed many nights with me, unfortunately, and many Lakers games they missed together. Because they knew that I'm working, but they knew that what we are doing together is important, and they were willing to make this sacrifice, and I owe them a lot. So with much love and respect, deep, deep appreciation to all of you, each and every one of you. I'm extremely grateful. The state of Israel is extremely grateful. And I hope sincerely to see each and every one of you standing and walking together with me in the streets of Israel and making those communities stronger and tighter than ever. So thank you very much. Toda rabah. Hello. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Council General Yaki Dayan, thank you. Another round of applause for his great service to his country and to our city and his family. As we clear the floor here, a very special introduction by Councilman Alarcon and Councilman Cardenas.
Yes, council members, I'd like to welcome the students from Fenton Charter School. If they could all stand up. This is a very special school. The charter school was initiated by Joe Lucente, who worked with us for many years and created a learning environment to enhance the opportunities for the kids. This is the student leadership group, and I understand Mr. Cardenas has a very close connection to this group, and so I wanted to allow him the opportunity to welcome them as well.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Alarcon. You're very fortunate and blessed to have these wonderful students being educated in your district. And I'm very fond of them as well, as my wife used to work there way before you young people were born. And but she's still connected to Fenton, and that's what makes Fenton so beautiful. We have administrators and teachers and families that even though they might not be working there or their children are not going to that school anymore, they're still connected, such as my wife, who's on the board of Fenton, and they have really early meetings in the morning, and she doesn't miss them. And also, I just wanted to say thank you to the leadership students from Fenton who are here with us today. As I told them earlier, welcome to your City Hall. This is your beautiful place. It belongs to you. Visit it as often as you'd like. And also look at these chairs, because you belong in one of these chairs someday. So congratulations for visiting today, and we wish you well. Thank you.
Very nice introduction. Big hand for these great young people. Now I'd like to call on Councilmember Bernard Parks for a special presentation to the great University of Southern California. The great councilman of the 8th District does a tremendous job with what is the most important university in the central part of Los Angeles. It's not in the central part of Los Angeles. It's on the west side of Los Angeles. I got to give, it's all geography.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Parks.
Thank you very much. Let me ask Jan Perry to come up and join me on this presentation, because she shares the boundaries of SC. We'd also ask that the following people come up also. Charlie Lane, the Senior Vice President. Donald Frazier, Deputy Chief Fire Department. Michael Bowman, Battalion Chief Fire Department, and also Commander Robert Green, LAPD, come up at this time, and all other members that may be here as part of this task force. Ms. Perry and I wanted to present this International Safe Community designation to USC. Also, let me ask, where's Mr. Krikorian? Why don't we find Mr. Krikorian so we can get him up here also? You guys have to come up here.
It's safe.
Otherwise, you won't be in the photo.
Yeah, it's good. It's safe. It's good.
Okay. The University of Southern California was designated as an international safe communities for by the World Health Organization, collaborating center on community safety promotion this past September. USC is the first academic institution in the world to receive the International Safe Community designation. USC joins a network of more than 200 communities around the world, and only 11 in the United States that have received the designation and met the World Health Organization standards to promote and undertake a comprehensive approach to safety and health initiatives. The International Safe Community designation is awarded to communities that have demonstrated leadership in promoting safety, reducing injuries, and preparing their citizens for natural and man-made disasters. At USC, the Department of Public Safety and the Office of Student Affairs, Housing, Transportation, and Emergency Planning, Risk Management, Environmental Health and Safety, and Public Relations work in concert to provide safety, emergency preparedness, communications, and as-needed emergency services for the University Park campus located in South Los Angeles and for the health science campuses located in East Los Angeles. USC keeps the community informed about potential risks with a variety of tools, including the Trojan Alert, Crime Alert, bulletins on the university's homepage, a dedicated USC emergency website, and emergency information line.
Thank you, Mr. Parks. Now, USC established the Safe Communities Task Force in 2008, which includes 12 members representing students, faculty, staff, senior administration, and they meet monthly to discuss, evaluate, maintain, and recommend various safety and security initiatives. USC met 6 indicators established by the World Health Organization Collaborating Center on Community Center promotion to secure the International Safe Community designation. An infrastructure based on partnership and collaboration governed by a cross-sectional group that is responsible for safety promotion in their community, long-term sustainable programs covering both genders and all ages and environments. And why don't you take that, Mr. Krikorian? Yeah, 3.
It also included programs that target high-risk groups and environments, and programs which promote safety for vulnerable groups, programs that document the frequency and causes of injuries, evaluation measures to assess programs, processes, and the effects of change, and ongoing participation in national and international safe community networks.
Okay, and then so today, we would all, 3 Trojans, would like to commend our university, the University of Southern California, on its designation as an international safe community by the World Health Organization, and express our gratitude and appreciation for the university's innovative approach and commitment to maintaining a vibrant and secure community. USC stands as a model for other universities and large businesses to follow, and I'd like for you to all join us in giving them applause. So let's see, our first speaker will be, let's start here, Deputy Chief Fraser to make remarks on behalf of the fire department, followed by Commander Green, who will make remarks on behalf of the Los Angeles Police Department.
Good morning, council members. We're talking today about leadership, and normally we think of leaders as individuals in our community and also in our nation, the President of the United States, the President of the City Council. But every once in a while, you'll see leaders step out that are actually organizations. Leadership is the ability to give ordinary people the opportunity to do something extraordinary. And that's what's happened today with the recognition of USC. They have taken steps to make sure that their population are prepared. It's something that's very dear to the Los Angeles Fire Department. preparation for disaster is critical for us to be able to continue when a disaster happens. I've been proud to wear this uniform for 35 years, but today I put on the SC ball cap.
Yay!
As an alum, but mostly because I'm proud of the steps that SC has taken here. Angelinos, if you don't fall under the USC umbrella, if SC is not in your area, contact the Los Angeles Fire Department, go to our website, and go to the CERT, the Community Emergency Response Teams, because we'll help you to become prepared as well. Thank you very much.
Good morning, council members. I'm here to represent Chief of Police Charlie Beck and first acknowledge the World Health Organization for their work with safer communities. To thank the councilpersons for this recognition and especially congratulate President Okias, Charlie Lane, all of USC staff that has made this happen. USC's Department of Public Safety has been critical in helping us reduce crime in the area around USC. They not only talk about a partnership, but they're extraordinarily collaborative. And because of that collaboration, not only have we reduced crime, but they've brought business back in that area and helped us revitalize a community that will pay great long-term benefits for us around USC. So from the Los Angeles Police Department, USC, Charlie, President Okias, thank you very, very much.
It's now my pleasure to introduce, representing the University of Southern California, Senior Vice President Charlie Lane.
Good morning, Councilman Parks, Councilwoman Perry, Councilman Krikorian. Thank you, members of the City Council and friends from across the City of LA. Thank you again. I'd also like to thank Commander Green and Deputy Chief Fraser for their remarks. LAFD and LAPD have always been here to support us, and that is greatly, greatly appreciated. It's with great pride and honor that I graciously accept on behalf of the University of Southern California this resolution commemorating USC for its designation as an international safe community. I join USC's president, CL Max Nikias, and the rest of the USC community in thanking you for recognizing this noteworthy achievement. As the largest private employer in the city and the caretakers for 37,000 students and countless visitors, USC takes this job of providing a safe environment very seriously. We're committed to being leaders in the area of safety, promoting safety, reducing injuries, and preparing citizens for various disasters. That's why we were delighted when the World Health Organization chose to invite USC to join a network of only about 200 communities worldwide designated as international safe communities. What is most exciting about this honor is that USC is the first academic institution to achieve this distinction. Please be assured that our efforts to create a safe community do not end here today. We will continue to inform the community about potential risks with our Trojans alert notification system. We will continue to convene our Safe Communities Task Force. We will continue to implement programs that target high-risk groups, and we will continue to work in partnership with a diverse set of trusted advisors, including our friends within the City of Los Angeles. These efforts are central to our role and mission as a university, and arguably more important than ever in the world in which we live. Again, council members in the City of Los Angeles, on behalf of USC, I thank you for this very important recognition.
Mr. Lane, on behalf of the Los Angeles City Council, I want to present this to the university and all the team that made this historic event occur. So thank you very much.
Mr. Krikorian and Mr. Parks, Ms. Perry, what a special presentation to a great university that is prepared. And it's the heart and soul of Los Angeles. And I'm speaking from where the late, great John Ferraro, who was a great Trojan who these chambers are named after, he would want me to express that. Fight on.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to ask the clerk now to call the meeting in order. Call the roll.
Alarcon, Cardenas, Hahn, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Wesson, Zine, Garcetti, 12 members present and a quorum. Mr. President.
Yeah, let's run through the agenda. First order of business.
That would be approval of the minutes.
I will pick Ms. Hahn and Mr. Cardenas. Move it. Second it. No
Mandatory
objection.
resolutions for approval.
Pick Mr. Wesson and Mr. Koretz. Mr. Wesson moves it. Mr. Koretz second it. Without objection, so approved. Now let's run through the items.
Item 1 is a hearing protest notice for public hearing. We do have cards on that matter, sir.
Call it special for cards. Next item.
Item 2 is an item for which a public hearing has been held. The committee report has been submitted and distributed for council's consideration.
So does anyone wish to call it special? No members call it special. Without, let's vote on this item 2. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Next item. Forthwith on 2. Item 3. And all items.
Items 3 through 11 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
I have a card on number 9.
You can. Would you like to move consideration without objection, sir?
Move consideration without objection. Sure, that's a good idea.
Very good. For item 10, there is a request from a member to continue that matter to June 16.
Without objection, continued.
I am told that there is an amendment being prepared and soon to be circulated for item 7 as well.
Hold 7 on the desk, Mr. Cardenas.
And a substitute.
Hold on, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Cardenas.
Councilmember Wesson has an amendment, and I have an amendment on item number 7. So for clarity,
hold it on the
two
desk.
amendments.
Yeah, very good. Hold it on the desk. Other cards?
Sir, we have cards on item number 9 and item 3 as well, sir.
Item 9, are they required or special on 9? Let's take up the balance of the items. Open the roll.
Yes,
Mr. Clerk. Consulting with the city attorney. Mr. Clerk, we could open the roll?
Sir, yes, sir.
On the balance, close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
So ordered. Next item.
Mr. President, on the continuation agenda, item 12 is an item notice for a public hearing. There has been a request from a member to continue that matter to June 28.
So without objection, continue to June 28th. All right. Is that it now, Mr. Clerk? We'll go back to presentations.
On the regular agenda, sir, yes.
On the regular agenda. Yeah, we'll do the special later. Thank you. All right, so let's go back to special presentations. Let's call on CD 14, Mr. Weezar, Councilman Weezar, a friend of mine. Please go to the podium. And I honor the great Panthers of Franklin High School.
Hey. You guys look great on your sweaters. Yeah, very, very nice. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues in public. On behalf of Councilmember Ed Reyes, who could not be here this morning, I wanted to extend a huge congratulations to the Franklin High School's academic decathlon team. Franklin High School is in Council District 1, and we share many of the same constituents there, including many of the same students who go to Franklin High School. Now, the competition components of the academic decathlon are art, music, language and literature, social science, science, mathematics, economics, speech, interview, and essay. Franklin High's team of 9 students, proudly represent Highland Park in Northeast Los Angeles, went to the state academic decathlon team competitions recently and did very, very well. Franklin placed 4th in Los Angeles and 6th in California out of 65 schools. Last year, they placed 21st out of 62 schools, and nationally, they were 12th in the entire country. What a huge achievement. Let's give them a big round of applause. This year in the Super Quiz Relay at the state competition, Franklin and Marshall, Mr. Labange's alma mater, tied for first place. They were one of 10 schools representing Los Angeles, and they did extremely well. I would like to acknowledge the coach, Samuel Collins, and principal, Joseph Narcorda, for the time and commitment to their team. Kids and coaches sacrificed a lot of free time to train for these academic decathlons. My notes say that other kids were playing Xbox, but these kids were studying for the competition. I think these kids were both studying for the competition and playing Xbox, right? At this time, I would like to acknowledge every member of the team. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to first acknowledge Marvin Alcantara with a huge congratulations on behalf of Councilmember Ed Reyes, myself, and the City of Los Angeles. Congratulations. Marvin is a senior who is going to UC Berkeley, go Bears, in the fall, and loves physics and mathematics more than anything else in the world. I would also like to congratulate Kenya Alfaro. She is a junior, one of few juniors. She will be a leader of next year's team, and she is nicknamed the Little One for obvious reasons. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We also have Omar Carrillo, a senior who will be attending UC Santa Barbara, the Gauchos, right? The Gauchos. And Omar loves literature and is a poet. Congratulations, Omar. We also have Juan Cuadra. He's a senior, and he will also attend UC Berkeley, go Bears, in the fall. Juan has a love-hate relationship with mayonnaise. Is that true?
I just like mayonnaise.
I love mayonnaise. My mom used to make me these sandwiches with just mayonnaise alone. And, summers, every summer, that was my lunch.
Oh, that's my kryptonite.
That's his kryptonite. He said that's his kryptonite. He loves, he also has a love-hate relationship with modern art and pop music. In the last 2 years, Juan has accumulated 16 medals in a variety of subjects. Congratulations, Juan. Good-looking gal. Mayra Fuentes, a senior, will be attending UC San Diego next year. She commutes from South Los Angeles. Ms. Perry, Mr. Parks, Mr. Weston, one of you three you're there because you know whose district you live in? Okay. All right. She commutes from South Los Angeles to attend Franklin, sometimes spending 2 to 3 hours a day on public transportation. Congratulations. Good luck to you. Thank you so much. Wendy Renteria, a junior, will be a leader of next year's team as well. It says here in my notes that she hates speaking, yet received a gold medal in speech. Wow, congratulations. She received a total of 6 medals this year in a variety of subjects. She is arguably the nicest person in the world. That's what my notes say. And perhaps surpassing Gandhi and Mother Teresa for her kindness. Congratulations. Congratulations. We also have Cynthia Ramirez Gomez. She has an infatuation with politics and hopes to major in political science. These chambers can be yours and the public's Wednesday. Her role model and idol is Rachel Maddow, which is awfully peculiar for a high school student. So congratulations, Cynthia, and good luck to you. We also have Gabby Sanchez, a senior. She is perseverance personified. She was cut from last year's team. She was cut from last year's team and was the team's highest scorer this year. She won an astounding 15 medals this year in a variety of subjects. She is the highest scoring Latina in the state of California and is among the top 3 in the nation. Undecided for next year, she is a huge supporter of the DREAM Act. She loves animals, but especially loves cats. Congratulations, Gabby.
Thank you.
Mr. Perez is not here. Last but not least, Andy Wong. He is a jock turned decathlete. Did I say that correctly? Decathlete? Yeah. He is a jock turned decathlete. He was a captain of the Frosh Soft football team and quit to join the academic decathlon. He is 17 going on 35. You can just look at him. He will be attending Wake Forest University in North Carolina next fall. In the last 2 years, Andy has accumulated 10 medals in a variety of subjects. Congratulations, Andy.
Thank you.
You need a pipe in the war. Again, this 9-member team represents a school that has struggled academically, has faced many community challenges, but here we have many of our students who have persevered and are the best in what they do. They are the best because they have the caring adults and parents, caring teachers, faculty, and staff. Two of them are with us here today. I want to thank and congratulate their coach, Samuel Collins, at this time, and congratulations for the wonderful achievement you brought to Benjamin Franklin High School, Northeast Los Angeles, and the City of Los Angeles. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And last but not least, every good school has a great leader. I'd love to present this certificate from Councilmember Reyes, myself, and the City of Los Angeles to the principal, Principal Joseph Darcoda, for the achievement you've helped get this year. And on behalf of the city, congratulations. Many more years of success. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And with that, we can hear from our principal.
Thank you very much. Big hand for Franklin High School right now.
Good morning, council members. As born and raised in Los Angeles, I'm very proud to be the principal of Benjamin Franklin High School, LAUSD Highland Park. I'd like to also recognize our LA Unified School District Coach of the Year, Mr. Samuel Collins, for really taking the charge to build capacity in these students and really make history at Franklin High School. I'd like to also mention that this is my first year at Franklin. I came from Hollywood High School last year. Councilmember LaBonge, President Garcetti. I know it's very, very important for the school community to have our council members present our football games, as well as I know Councilmember Jose Huizar in our graduations, and also thank you to Councilmember Ed Reyes for their undying support in showing up on campus, participating in our family affairs, showing the students and our parents their support in our programs, and building those community relationships that our students really need to see. So with that, I'd like to introduce our coach and also our student representative to explain to you basically some details in terms of our achievement. Thank you very much, City Council members.
I would also like to thank Councilman Huizar and Councilman Reyes for having us here. It's just an absolute honor to be here. And if you would have told us we would be standing here 4 years ago, we would have said that was an absolute impossibility. When we started out, we were number 58 out of 65 teams in LAUSD. I'd say we were kind of on pace with a lot of the apathy that teachers in LAUSD face. And when we looked around and we saw we would be battling teams like El Camino Real, which are multiple-time national champions, schools like Marshall, which are just great institutions, we said there's no way we would have ever been able to do it. But luckily, with the help of our 5 or 6 seniors that have done this for 2 years, we've really made progress. And the results have just been absolutely incredible. We've inspired members of the Franklin community. We've inspired members of the Highland Park community. We've had so many alumni call and just say, we've never been so proud to be part of the Panther community. These young people, they've grown into fine young adults. I just can't wait to see what the future holds for them. I know this experience in academic decathlon has meant so much to them, and you guys have just done so much for me as a person. And so we've also brought members of our future academic decathlon team with us today because we wanted to inspire them to see what hard work and dedication really can achieve. And with that said, we know that our best is still yet to come. Thank you.
Right.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow, what an honor to be up here. I'm Juan Quadra. I'm speaking on behalf of my Franklin Academic Decathlon team and the Franklin High School class of 2011. First of all, I'd like to thank Councilman Huizar and Mr. Reyes for allowing us to come down here and speak, and of course for the generous donation to our class for our graduation. And of course, I'd like to thank everybody here that's sharing this experience with us. Well, I've got to say, we are honored and proud to represent the Northeast Los Angeles community, especially Highland Park, a low-income, low-opportunity neighborhood. Franklin Academic Decathlon has been one of the greatest moments of my high school career and, of course, of my young life. And unfortunately, this is my last year on the team along with some of my seniors. We'll be heading to college next year, but I guarantee the Franklin Academic Decathlon team will be back, continuing stronger than ever, and will always be proud to represent the Los Angeles community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Huizar. I just want to ask the coach, pick one of your great decathletes and tell us who Ben Franklin was, because he was one of the greatest Americans, just to refresh our mind on the greatness of Ben Franklin, who your school's named after.
Who was Benjamin Franklin?
Benjamin Franklin,
Step up. Gabby.
What, sir? Come on, someone. Let's go back up there.
Well, Benjamin Franklin was, of course, one of the greatest founding fathers that the United States had. Of course, ambassador to France, and one of the greatest inventors that this country has ever known. If it wasn't for his ideas, I don't know where it would be right now, but I sure do thank him for everything he's done, and of course, we did name our great school after this great individual. Thank you.
Great job. Good job. That's why you're champs. Good job.
He passes with flying colors. Again, we are so proud of you. Keep it up. Keep your heads up high. From Northeast Los Angeles, Highland Park, we have a lot of great things coming out of our neighborhoods, and we will have much more to come. We have Stand and Deliver. For those of you who've seen the movie from Garfield High School, a movie could be based out of these young people who took their team just a few years ago. Many people could not think they would reach the achievements they have, and here they are, going beyond anybody's dreams, and it's because of the students first and foremost and their hard work, but secondly because parents, adults, and communities invest in these young people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Weezar. Go Panthers. For an introduction, I'd like to call on the great councilman of the 8th District.
Colleagues and visitors, I'd like to introduce a couple of people that have joined us as visitors from a great organization, the United Negro College Fund. I'd like to ask Maurice Jenkins, the Senior Vice President, Southern Western Region, and also Curtis Silvers, Jr., the Area Director, Southern California, to stand and be recognized.
Welcome to Los Angeles City Hall. Another very special introduction by Paul Krikorian, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're joined today by some of the 4th and 5th grade students from Apperson Street School in Sunland who've come a very long way down here to visit us in City Hall along with their teachers, Mr. Olson and Ms. Lee, and I'd like you all to help me in welcoming them to our chambers. The students of Apperson Street School. Stand up so everybody can see you guys.
Welcome, young children, and let's give a big hand for our Los Angelinos, their special guide. Give her a big hand for bringing in there. Now I'd like to call President Pro Tem Jan Perry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to invite my friend and my teacher and an advocate for bilingual education and cultural outreach, Oscar Smooch. Let's come on up here. Come on up here. Don't be shy. I want to introduce Oscar Smooch to you because he is a very important person, and he's joined here by his friend whose name is Kenya, and his daughter Kenya. In the United States, Spanish is the most widely spoken language after English. The Spanish-speaking population in the United States and Los Angeles has been growing every year. Bilingual education is a huge asset for people who live and work in this country. Oscar has led the way in cultural sensitivity and in training and in outreach, and has been an advocate for bilingual education for over 30 years. He is not simply bilingual, but multilingual. He speaks French, he speaks Italian and Portuguese, in addition to Spanish. He has trained public school teachers, major corporations, universities, and entertainers such as Kim Basinger, Johnny Carson, Sally Field, Tim Conway, Barbara Streisand, and many others. His clients include numerous government and Fortune 500 companies. And I have been working with Oscar for many years to better serve the needs of the constituency that I serve here in the city of Los Angeles. So in this way I can serve my community more thoroughly, more comprehensively, and at a much deeper level. He is a great teacher and a great advocate for bilingual education. Oscar es un profesor maravilloso. Él ha ayudado a gente en Los Ángeles a tener acceso a comunidades culturales. Gracias, Oscar, por todos lo que usted hace. Thank you very much, Oscar, for all that you do for all of us. Please give him a hand. Is that okay? I didn't make any mistakes? Okay, good.
Very nice presentation. And I think we should give him another hand because he made the nicest speech. It was the shortest. Good job right there. You're happy. Let me call on Mr. Paul Koretz for a very special presentation.
Wait, I'm going to go in the back and bring your purse with you. Okay, we'll go back this way.
We can.
Oh, good. Okay.
Thanks for letting me join you, Rob. And what's your name?
Jillian.
I've got a niece named Jillian. It's visiting here.
Well, today is another Feline Friday, although we also have a dog to adopt as well. This is Anton, who is a very cute and feisty male neutered kitten. He's a black and white tabby, and he's been fostered in our terrific foster program for a while, which if you want to find out about that, you can look on the net at laanimalservices.com. But this is an adorable, cute, fun-loving kitten. Somebody will have a great time with this kitten, and come on down and get it, or call my office at 213-473-7005, and we can help you link up with this wonderful cat. And his ID number is A1197586. So this is a chance to get a wonderful and playful kitten through our wonderful animal shelters.
And you get to get this too.
And we'll give you this too.
As an added bonus.
Very good, Mr. Koretz. If you ever give up your day job, you can have a good job doing that. The great councilman of the 10th District, Mr. Wesson.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. I'm joined today by Jillian. Jillian is the human, all right? And she has brought in one of the most attractive and unique little animals that I've seen. And her name is Penta. Penta is an Italian Greyhound mixed, we believe, with a Chihuahua. She's 8 months. Here, she's 8 months, and we believe that this is about as big as she's going to get. She's had all her shots. She's ready to go. And, I mean, she's like a Brindle mix, but if you look at this coloring, it's so unique. Oh. And she's looking for a home. If you ever wanted unconditional love, trust me, you get it from one of the companion animals that we have at the LA City's shelter. Now, I always boast of the city of Los Angeles having a 100% adoption rate. I'm serious about that. We do, and I don't want to lose out to the county of Los Angeles, which also has a 100% adoption rate. So what we're going to do is hopefully somebody here in this chamber or somebody listening to us on council phone or watching us on television will rush down to this chamber and take Penta, be the mommy or the daddy she's looking for, and I'm sure she'll be the companion animal that you need. So we're going to keep both Penta and what's Anton. How did you get such an exotic name, Anton? Anton here for a while in hopes that some of our city family or someone visiting this city family will come down and pick up one of these dogs. This would be a great treat to give to your children this evening. So again, please help us out. Anton and Penta may not be alive if no one opens their heart and takes them home. It is unfortunate that we still put dogs and cats to sleep. If you adopt this puppy and this kitten, you have just saved their life. So I'm urging anyone who is a cat lover or a dog lover or don't know lover to please come and adopt these two animals. Thank you, Mr. President and members.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wesson. Mr. Koretz again.
And I have one announcement also, very apropos of what we're doing. You all know the term Dog Days of Summer. Well, there's an event taking place on June 18th called the Cat Days of Summer. Hey, it wasn't my idea, but it's very cute. All of our shelters are having discounts on adoptions of kittens and puppies and more. So you should come to one of our animal shelters and adopt a cat or a kitten or a dog or a puppy, and there'll be a great discount on June 18th. So come to the Cat Days of Summer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Koretz. Mr. Wesson, good job. Now, Mr. Clerk, what do we have before us right now?
Mr. President, that takes council back to items called special or public comment on items not on council's agenda.
Let's do. Want to do public comment right now? Mr. Clerk, public comment?
That's fine with me, sir.
Very good. Here we go. Mr. Arnold Sachs, public comment.
I just
and as Mr. Sachs makes his way up, Mr. Parks?
Number 8 forthwith, that's all.
Number 8 forthwith. Thank you, Mr. Parks.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Arnold Sachs. Very quickly, although I normally don't do this, just a note to the city attorney. He made during his presentation today to the Israeli Council General, he made a remark regarding a trial. I just wanted to point out the difference here, that in Israel, the person he was talking about was found guilty, but in L.A., he was acquitted. So I'd just like to bring to the city attorney's attention, in L.A., O.J. was found innocent, but I'll bet you dollars to donuts in Israel he'd have been found guilty. That being said, I'd like to talk a little bit about this gold card fiasco again, even though the great design is on an audit hot trail. It's amazing, and Councilman Alarcon, I appreciate your openness that you would say or be interviewed and say that you were trained in how to use the gold card. But of the other 14 councilmen, well, actually, Les Koretz and Korian, did they receive training? We don't know. The Denizine wants to audit. Does he have a gold card? We don't know. It's mind-boggling because this city council that's sitting right now, except again for Korian, although including them, was elected to be more open, more transparent, and they got the third term included because they'd be more ethical. So we have a gold card standard of openness and transparency where you don't know what the hell's going on in your own council offices. Councilman LaBonge, this is serious stuff here. This is a contract that was put out by the DOT that nobody approved. Basically, everybody's saying nobody approved, nobody reviewed. There's got to be a request for proposal. Was this part of the gold card included in a request for proposal, and that wasn't reviewed? Does the city attorney review this stuff?
Thank you very much, Mr. Alarcon.
I do think these comments merit an understanding that, yes, the gold card program was processed through the city council. It was approved by the Transportation Committee, which was chaired by Wendy Gruhl, and it was approved by the council. That was back in January of 2007. So, yes, it did go through the rigorous process.
Thank you, Mr. Alarcon. We look forward to that in committee. Phyllis Doherty, please. Phyllis.
Good morning, Phyllis Doherty with the Animal Issues Movement. I just want to, in the segue, make a comment about the animals that were just in here and thank the councilman for bringing them in. But I think the city was left with, or the public was left with the impression that the city kills animals because we can't adopt them out. The reason the animals are here are because of the public's irresponsibility. And spaying and neutering and making a commitment to your pet will keep them from coming in here and keep them from coming to our shelters. So we need that responsibility to be where it belongs, and that is with the people out there who can can stop us from having to have animals adopted at these meetings, and that would be wonderful. I came to talk about the shelter, actually, about the Northeast Valley Shelter, which is, according to the CAO, they're developing a program to give this shelter literally to Best Friends Animal Sanctuary of Utah to use for a few adoptions. The city is paying for that shelter. The community needs the shelter, and they are paying the bonds for it. No communities need a care center more than this very, very diverse animal population of the Northeast Valley. Mr. Alarcon has brought in a proposal that each of our other shelters could be closed for a few hours or 1 day a week. This is the shared sacrifice. And with that 1 day a week, closing the other shelters just for the major public services, we could still handle people who are coming to redeem their animals that are already licensed and microchipped. We would still take in animals that are brought to be relinquished or strays. But if the other services were closed for 1 day a week at the other shelters, we could keep the Northeast Valley Shelter open, and we would continue to keep down the overcrowding that is going to occur in the other valley shelters. This is what shared sacrifice is about, not closing that shelter, giving it away for $1 a year to an organization that already makes $58 million of its own.
Thank you, Mrs. Doherty. Richard Robinson.
Mr. President, members, Richard Robinson, I'd like to echo what the previous speakers have been saying. I had a lot of animals when I was a kid. I had a Bijou for 16 years, poodle, a beagle, 2 chocolate points. They weren't brown points. And I'd just like to echo what she was saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Walter Bechtel.
Good morning. I wanted to say something because somebody on the radio was really upset about the fact that some tornadoes hit Joplin, Missouri. I just want to say, May the 22nd is my birthday. May the 22nd is also the date that Miss A&M sent me a personal message of hate by marrying her bimbo boyfriend on that very same day last year, as well as May 22nd being the date that Joplin, Missouri was hit with a horrible tornado. And the lady on the radio says there, what did we do? Tell us what we did so we won't do it anymore. I don't know, maybe the problem is it's something that you Missouri's people don't do anymore. We look to you as the show-me state. I needed this city to prosecute Miss A&M for theft by deception. They refused to do so, and neither does their district court. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you should assist me and the United States by filing a lawsuit against such artists as her for theft in your district court. You can do that, you know, as it vexates in the entire United States. But as far as the city of Los Angeles is concerned, I think you should be reminded that when a wall fell in Jesus' time and killed a bunch of people there, and everybody thought it was horrible and they must have been more evil than the rest of everybody else, he said to them, you think these people are more evil than the rest of you? I tell you, if you don't all repent, the same is going to happen to you. And I'm going to tell you this, city of L.A., if something like that hits Joplin, Missouri, you think that something like that can't happen to you, you're very wrong. I suggest you do what I say and you make law equal under the justice equal for everyone,
Thank you, Mr.
including
Bechtel.
myself.
Appreciate that. And Miriam, could I call you now the pride of Birmingham High? Is that all I can say that to? You're a great brave, now a patriot. Miriam Folger.
Thank you very much, Mr. Labange. I want to let you know that we came down and you know, like I said, I don't want to have to sue you, but I'm going to have to if it comes down to it. But we talked to reps at the union, and we got somebody in there that's not going along with us, and we need your support here and need to show these people that you care about them and that you really want to work with them. We like to have another crack at that contract. If you can, if it has to be after July 1st, let the point show what the ramification is if they don't pass the contract, that you would allow us to have another vote. And maybe you can talk to the union, let the union guy, right now he's not interested, but maybe we can get this done, so that we can get the retirement medical in, because we very much want that. And we all want to be on board together as much as you do, because you got it for yourselves. So we want to be on board. Right now we're not all sacrificing, so I don't know how can everybody be on board. And we want to have another crack at it. And here they want to keep doing it as many as you can to get it in, because you guys have an interest in getting us to pay 4% as well. So I talked to Bill Rosendahl, and he said he wants to help us get it. So I need your help, and we need a lot of support, okay, to get this through, so that we all be together with the coalition. Okay, so...
Miriam, thank you for your comments, and you have a good weekend, and I appreciate all that you do.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I would like to have you guys help us out with the team, because they very much need that medical retirement.
Thank you so much. Now I'd like to call in Van Nuys, California. Van Nuys, California. Bruce Darren.
Good afternoon, City Council, Council President Labange. I wanted to thank Council President Garcetti's deputy and Hollywood yesterday for assisting me. I believe she gave to the council each a copy of what are transcripts from the Santa Monica Superior Court of what has been a long and drawn-out litigation of 11 years in the Superior Court regarding the building of Malibu Pier with Los Angeles contractors, Darien Construction, Superior Gunite, Accent Builders, Anthony Federico being the principal, and his stepson, Ron Federico. There were several other contractors involved, most of them being Los Angeles-based contractors. In the agreement to settle all claims against all parties and forever be barred from bringing any further litigation against these people under this contract with the pier, I agreed to a settlement of $120,000, which will precisely reimburse me half of what I've lost, and will make sure that I will have never been paid for my efforts in putting together the entire project for the Malibu Pier on behalf of the state of California. In the receivership's request that it be signed in the stipulation, I am to sign that I will indemnify jointly and severally with Accent Builders, but not their principals, any debts that Receiver Pasternak would incur, and that I would sign that his work was right and proper, and that everything that was done by the receivership was such. This is a farce. I would not sign that, and I would be under complete duress if I did. I have fought for 11 years that it is white-collar crime, that it has been illegal receivership, and the contracting was illegal. Now, I am in a quandary right now. I have a dog that needs an aid in having an operation on his eye to have a tumor removed, and I need that money so I can have the surgery performed. The deputy for Garcetti had said that maybe the city could interact and assist me with that surgery. I hope any help that you could provide would be greatly appreciated, and God bless our veterans of the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Daniel Wright for public comment. Daniel Wright.
Good day, Daniel Wright of the Friends of the Southwest Museum. Council members, on Tuesday, I brought to your attention the conduct of a stealth special meeting of the Recreation and Parks Commission. This same commission was determined by the city attorney in 2009 to have a disqualifying interest in the Autry's permit requests. These permits sought to move the exhibition halls of the Southwest Museum over to Autry's building in Griffith Park. The disqualification stemmed from the commission president, Barry Sanders, being a former partner of Latham & Watkins, the same firm seeking Autry's permits. Now, a year and a half later, without taking a revised project proposal to any community group or to any neighborhood council. Mr. Sanders oversaw the use of an unlawful special meeting notice and the failure to send the routine email notice of its meeting agenda to at least part of the email list. People who previously spoke out in opposition to Autry's destruction of the Southwest Museum have contacted us stating that they did not receive multiple commission meeting notices, even though they've been subscribed to the commission's email list for a number of years. This highly irregular project proposal, processed under an unlawful environmental document, warrants review under Charter Section 245. I have distributed to you a copy of a letter of a person who no longer lives in Northeast Los Angeles, but who articulates for you in just a little bit of text and some pictures why the Autry's refusal to reopen the Southwest Museum breaches its merger promises of 2003 and is so offensive. It was great to see you recognizing the Franklin High academic team today. They deserve to have our premier cultural institution restored, not sold away in a tacky cultural garage sale. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. That will close our general public comment. If we can call the roll for the special meeting.
Alarcon, Cardenas, Han, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Wesson, Zang, Garcetti, 12 members present, and a quorum. Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business, or first items?
That would be item 13, which is the mayor's veto message. Council has yet to receive anything, so no action is required on this matter.
Okay. I know that's confusing sometimes at budget time. People see the mayor's veto message. That does not mean the mayor has vetoed anything. It just needs to be agendized for 5 meetings. So we will go ahead and continue that to our next meeting, or let it roll over to the next meeting as well. Item 14, please.
That brings us to item 14. It's an item for which public hearing has not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
All right, if there's no objection to hearing that, that is before us. Does anybody wish to be heard on 14? If not, let's go ahead and prepare the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, that is approved. That is the enabling ordinance vis-a-vis the Measure G passage. If we can go back to Mr. City Attorney.
For the record, that item will carry forward 30 days for second reading.
For second reading, 30 days from now, correct. Let's go back to the regular meeting, and we'll go to items that have been called special.
7 is ready.
If we can go to item 7 is ready now. The amendments have been circulated.
Yes, there was one amendment, sir, and it has been circulated.
So let's go ahead. If nobody wishes to be heard on 7, let's prepare the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
All right, that is approved. Next item. We'll go forthwith on that without objection. Next item, please.
That brings us to item 1, called Special for Cards.
Okay, we have cards here from the public on item number 1. Our first speaker is Derek Agchai. After that is Don DiChiaro.
Good morning, council members. My name is Derek Akshay. I'm the actual property owner of the family, actually next to the property of Mr. Paul Allen's, who's trying to vacate supposedly 300 feet. There's few facts that need to be said here. Surprisingly, according to the city records, which I'm the next, actually lot next to Mr. Paul Allen's property, was never, ever mailed any kind of notification or anything according to city records to be able to understand and come and contest this property is vacant, I mean the road vacation. Number 2, it was a surprise to me on April 13 that I showed up here. I've been speaking to Mr. Sean Blaise, yes, he's right there, and I had actually opportunity to meet Mr. Koretz for like a few minutes, and there's lots of issues in this thing. One of the things is the being a flaws service. Number 1 is this is not actually a 300 feet road. This road actually is over 1,000 feet, according to surveyors and the work that I've done the last couple of weeks. I have the absolute certain rights according to the history of their property and records, for 17 years to access this property through that road, and previously almost 20 years by the previous owner, who has written document to me that he hands it to me. There's more documents needs to be actually delivered to Mr. Blais, but somehow the short time was last week till here. We don't have enough time to do so. I need to be given the same opportunity as Mr. Pollan's representative, according to Mr. Blais, who's been on the site with the representative of Mr. Allens, and he refuses to do so with me. Neither that nor even giving me a time to represent myself and my paperwork.
Thank you.
So I'm here to contest that vacation.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments, Don DiChiaro. After that is Richard Arthur Love.
Yes, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. I flew down here this morning after I was told that there was already a decision made on the road to go ahead and vacate. I don't know why there's such a rush to vacate. There's been a dispute for the last 5-6 years over this property, and certainly somebody could wait 90 more days. It just seems to me that we have a right to life, liberty, and property, and if this road is vacated, then the Agche family, the Nassari family, loses their property right. You would be doing nothing more than granting somebody something that they don't already have and taking away from somebody their property rights. You will be blocking them in. In the past, the Filbert Trust has put up gates with gate guards with guns. They've already considered this road vacated. Derek, Miriam, and their family have been denied the right to access their property. Why can't we just wait 90 more days? What's the rush? It just seems very lopsided to me. This is David versus Goliath. Mr. Allen has a ton of money and a lot of influence, and we're asking you for 90 days. We'll go away after 90 days. We want to resolve the dispute with Vulcan and the Filbert Trust, and then we'll go away if we don't get resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DiChiaro. Next is Richard Arthur Love. After that is Larry Ajalat.
Honorable council members, thank you for seeing this issue this morning. The city council is not a court, but the decisions that you make affect the lives of millions of people. And every issue that comes in front of you is important. I've been a long-standing member of the Los Angeles community. My grandparents served on the grand jury in this building in the 1930s. My grandfather was the editor of the largest newspaper in Los Angeles. I'm an architectural designer. My family's home is a California state landmark in Glendale. And I know something of the neighborhood in Beverly Hills and this property that I'm referring to. The issue that we're talking about affects more than District 5, Councilman Koritz's district, because the decision that we're making here today regarding whether this road is vacated or not impacts any property owner anywhere in the city or in the state for that matter. This is something of a minor David and Goliath issue. We have a property owner who's got a landlocked piece of property that is a family possession, and they have evidence and longstanding rights to reach their property through Angelo Drive, which is the under your jurisdiction, the decision whether to vacate that road or not. And also, the person that owns the or is applying for this vacation of this road is not under any pressure to get it. They have easy access from another direction. They have no immediate need to use the road. It's been a very long time since they started this process. And I think that Mr. Agche would have the right to present additional documentation or his case, or at least resolve the issue out of the courts and out of your chambers if you would grant a delay to this vacation. What has happened basically is Mr. Allen has,
I can ask you to conclude, sir.
Not by himself, but his people have built an infrastructure project up there that is second only to the building of the Getty Center.
Thank you, sir. So we have to try to keep the time as even as possible. That's why the clock is there legally for everybody. We're over the 2 minutes.
Okay, fine, thank you. Please, my request is that you postpone the decision on the vacation of this road. Thank you. And
appreciate your understanding.
Right.
Thank you. Larry Ajalat is our next speaker. After that is Tom Stemnock.
Good morning, Council.
Good morning.
You've heard a lot. I'm Larry Ajalat. I represent the Agshay family. Have been for years. You've heard a lot from the three previous speakers. Above your door there it says, laws reason without passion. I would also submit to you, without changing Aristotle's quote, the law is also reason without prejudice. There is an unlevel playing field here. All we ask at this point, we urge you to maintain the status quo before further unleveling the playing field. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Tom Stemnock is our last speaker on item 1.
Good morning, members of the council. I'm Tom Stemnock, and I represent the Filbert Trust, which is the owner of all of the property adjoining the area being requested for vacation. It's a 300-foot long northerly terminus of Angelo Drive, which ends in a dead end within the property. And the city engineer has recommended approval of vacation and has required that we dedicate and improve a standard city turnaround at what would be the new terminus of Angelo Drive, which would still be within our property and which still provides access to the driveways that these gentlemen are talking about that they have access rights over. The issues of whether they do have access rights is a civil matter and needs to be adjudicated by the courts if necessary. We had met with the people, or had talked to the people. We had a meeting set and scheduled to meet on the property. The owners decided not to meet with us, and we feel that the claim is unfounded, and we'd like the council to go ahead and continue the vacation process. We've been in process now for 18 months. Thank you.
Thank you. That will close the public comments on item 1. Councilmember Koretz is on the queue.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a somewhat complicated issue, but I've reviewed the information presented in the request, and it seems like the Bureau of Engineering has made the correct analysis on the street vacation. There's a broader issue of access, which I think is a civil matter. It'll have to be decided in the courts, but I don't believe that it's directly related to the Bureau of Engineering determination that this should go forward. We have delayed it a couple times. I can't see that another delay will necessarily resolve anything. We've given them opportunity to provide documentation, which thus far hasn't been particularly notable. I would ask if our representative from the Bureau of Engineering could briefly speak to this as well. And particularly if you think this issue has any direct correlation to the issue of access that the two property owners are debating legally.
Edmund Yu from Bureau of Engineering. Councilman, my understanding is that this is an issue between two private parties over private property the city has no control of. I personally have not seen any drawing or map showing this private easement that's in question. I agree that the most likely location of this driveway going into this this easement is still on public property. The city is not vacating that portion of Angelo Drive, so that's my recommendation that the vacation go forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other comments from other council members? If not, there's the recommendation from committee report on Mr. Koretz before us. All right. Please prepare the roll and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
All right. That is approved. We'll go to number 9 now. That was called special for cards. Mr. Sachs, for the come forward on item number 9.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President.
Go ahead, Mr. Sachs.
Very
Thank
quickly,
you.
could you please clarify for the public and me also why we were not allowed to speak on item number 13 on the special agenda, the mayor's veto?
It was continued, sir. So item number 9 is before us on the bid.
My question regarding the bid is why, when you request these bids to be formed in the districts, normally the bids are formed and then a nonprofit or an agency is requested to oversee the bid district. There is no documentation in this item that states there's an overseer for the Larchmont bid. So why would there not be? I mean, I've heard of Little Tokyo having an overseer for the Little Tokyo bid, the downtown bid, San Pedro bid. Every time you have a bid on your agenda, it's the CAO and the CEO obligation to find, working with the bid, somebody to oversee the operations of the bid. Nothing here. No detailed description. But there's a detailed description of the work, and there's money being transferred. So if it can work for this bid, why can't it work for the other business improvement districts? Why can't it work for the business improvement districts with the property? Why, again, what's the standard? Are we looking at a gold card standard where, again, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work? Last week you had an item on your agenda regarding transfer of funds with a paragraph of minutia. Here, again, you have nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. That will close our public comment on 9. If we can please take a vote now, prepare the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
All right, that is approved. Next, we have item 3 for us. We do have a couple cards on that as well. Arnold Sachs, if you'd like to come back, and then Miriam Fogler.
Mr. President, for clarification, there has been an amending motion 3A that has been circulated as well.
Correct. Thank you.
Yes, thank you again, Arnold Sachs. My question regarding this is the basis for the emergency and the funding that's involved. I still have no concept of what is occurring with the DWP and the transfers. I'll read from last year. This is Councilman Parks, when they were discussing the $73.3 million transfer with interim general manager David Freeman, stated last year, when we asked them to tell us what their surplus would be, they said $220 million, and we budgeted for that. Now that would be for fiscal year 2009-2010. This year, you made a transfer, and that was three transfers, 3 divisions of the $220 million. This year, you made a fiscal transfer of $258 million. Last year, the interim manager, Austin Butner, mentioned on 6/2, the budget saves $263 million from last year. It also provides for a $257 million transfer to the general fund to budget Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa's balance, $6.7 billion budget. That would be the budget of 2010-2011. That transfer occurred in February, the end of February, or let me see. Yeah, February 25th, transfer $258 million. It was reported in the Daily Breeze that the initial transfer was $129.4 million, with payments of $21.5 million to be made over the next 6 months, which means $64.5 million would go into the next fiscal year. Why is there an emergency? And what is the DWP's transfer for fiscal year 2011-2012?
Thank you, Mr. Sachs.
We have an emergency, yeah.
Our next
There's a not lack of knowledge here.
speaker is Miriam Fogler.
Well, you got all the coalition on board except a couple of unions. So I don't know how you're going to deal with this fiscal emergency you got, but I would try to work with them out and get them on board with the 4% retirement medical that you need. So that would help dearly in your fiscal emergency. I think that you come on too difficult for these guys, and they want to come on board. There's only one bad apple where we work, where my husband works, okay? And all we have to do is convince them, and you got the contract. So you people need to give a good PR. And Janice, I'd really like to speak to you, please, because, you know, this is important. I need people who I have a friendship here that will hear me and understand our plight, because we need to all come aboard to contribute to our retirement health care. And even if it has to take 1,000 votes 1,000 times, we want it very bad out there, okay? And we want to all be part of the sacrifice here, not just, you know, we're not part of the sacrifice right now, okay? And we would appreciate it that we like to see you to work with the union, because right now the 501 doesn't want to do anything because they don't think it's going to do any good because we don't have any help. And we need to get support to turn the votes around. We only have 22 votes. So there's one guy out there that seems to think that he's going to get lots of overtime. And we're not counting on that because you're having a fiscal problem. So really, we want this contract very bad, so be nice. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Vogler. Mr. Garcetti, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. If I could ask the CAO to come forward for a moment on what we have before us. I want to make sure that we understand what we're doing here. I've had some folks from members of the coalition who have authorized and agreed to and ratified the deal that was before us and between them and the city. Does this apply to those units that have already approved the agreement between the city and them?
This emergency resolution, as it pertains to furloughs, does not apply to those bargaining units in the coalition that have ratified. And just to give you a quick update on that, sir.
Sure, please.
The last time we were here, we had reported that there were 4 bargaining units that had not ratified. Since then, MOU 3, which represents our clerical, has ratified. MOU 18, which is our security guards and traffic officers, ratified last night.
They did.
And there are 2 other that have not ratified.
And the 2 that are remaining, I believe, are just then the city attorneys, correct, and the operating engineers?
That is correct.
So percentage-wise, of all the members of the coalition, what percentage of the members have ratified, more or less? Do we?
About 96% of the actual workers.
Of the workers. And you know, I know there's been other people here before us, some folks in the operating engineers, so we want to keep that alive, and I said absolutely, you know, you can keep voting on that. Obviously we have to start the fiscal year and we need to get the savings, city attorneys similarly. But that's great news, folks. I mean, we went from somewhere like 60-ish% to now 96%, and that means that those savings are there. So this also then applies to the remaining 4% that are still out, more or less?
That is correct. We're still in negotiations with some of the bargaining units that are now part of the coalition. Our goal is to reach an agreement that hopefully allows for furloughs to be eliminated or significantly reduced. Yep. But for those remainder, should we not reach an agreement with, starting July 1st, they will be facing furloughs, 26 days of furloughs should they be in the general fund.
Okay. And that is our goal, to continue in the non-coalition unions as well, to move away from furloughing. It's a good thing for our constituents. It's a good thing for our workers. Furloughs help nobody. They hurt everybody. They might have been the short-term way to get through a year or two, but it is our sincere hope that the CAO continues to have good negotiations and that does bear some fruit For folks who brought up the issue, oh wait, this is we approved, and this is only 1 year worth, but the deal was supposed to be no furloughs for 2. What is your guarantee to them, to anybody who feels insecure? Because I had some city workers come up to me and say, wait a second, if you're declaring an emergency and you're doing this other thing on Friday, doesn't that mean we have no protections from the deal? What is the truth of the matter?
No, our agreement is very clear. We and the city will honor the agreement. We will not engage in mandatory furloughs for those bargaining units that ratified through the full term of the agreement.
Okay, so even though we have to move 1 year at a time on certain pieces of that, that is binding for that full
that is
time
correct.
of the agreement. Thank you. I know that. I wanted to restate it, though, because I know this is very complicated stuff. Sometimes workers are hearing gossip or reading things that are separate from what our agreement is. That is our word, our testament, and that's certainly what our legal obligation is as well. So with that today, folks, this really applies to what we said. We have to. I said this was a balanced budget. Hopefully, it would be not balanced on the back of furloughs and work stoppages and layoffs. For folks who have been able to ratify, we certainly have been able to end those furloughs and look good to not move forward with anything else. Those savings are captured. For others, this is out there, but again, we hope that we can move away from everybody, vest their retiree health, be able to have that guarantee for them, which is a great benefit in exchange for being able to shoulder a little bit more of that burden. So we continue to encourage everybody to join with that and thank those that have had the courage to move forward to do right for our city and for our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcetti. There's no speakers on the queue. So, Mr. Clerk, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Next item. You there? Find Lisa. Find Lisa. Find Lisa. Forthwith, next order of business.
Next order of business.
Next order of business, please.
Let's go, Mr. Labange.
Mr. President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
So ordered.
The desk is clear.
Okay, any announcements, please?
Announcements.
Any announcements?
Yes.
Mr. Zine?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Labange.
Lisa.
Announcements from the 3rd Council District in the San Fernando Valley. I am pleased to announce that on Monday, Memorial Day, the Great San Fernando Valley will be hosting the Memorial Day Parade, and that starts at Sherman Way in Topanga Canyon, Canoga Park, All-American City, 100 years part of our great history, and that will start at 9 to 10 is the gathering, and at 11 o'clock it will start. It'll go down Sherman Way from Topanga Canyon down to Soto, and there'll be festivities at Quimby Park, which is on DeSoto, south of Sherman Way, and everyone's invited to come celebrate Memorial Day in the great community of Canoga Park. All-American City. Ms. Hahn, I'm almost finished. I know you want me to finish quicker, so I'm done. Thank you, Ms. Hahn.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements? Mr. Alarcon?
Yeah, I'd like to announce that on Memorial Day, the San Fernando Pioneer Memorial Cemetery will have a Memorial Day celebration to include a flag raising, a 21 volley rifle salute, and taps performed by the All Veterans Burial Squad. 5 Civil War veterans are buried there, and they will be honored in conjunction with the 150th anniversary of the Civil War's ending. This is sponsored by the San Fernando Valley Historical Society and will be on Monday, May 30th from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m.
Announcements. Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, as you may or may not know, May is Perinatal Depression Awareness Month, and this covers prenatal depression, baby blues, postpartum depression, and postpartum psychosis. In the United States, between 15 and 20% of new moms, or about 1 million moms each year, experience some form of pregnancy-related depression or anxiety disorder. This can affect any woman regardless of age, income, culture, or education. Colleagues, with your help and by creating awareness of this significant public health issue, we can work together to improve women's access to mental health care and encourage the use of prenatal and postpartum screening tools to improve the availability of informed and culturally competent treatment and community support services. And for more information, support, and resources, you can contact Postpartum Support International at postpartum.net or by calling 1-800-944-4773.
Thank you, Mr. Koretz. Mr. Park.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just two quick announcements. On Tuesday, May the 31st, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Los Angeles DWP Crenshaw Auditorium, 4030 Crenshaw Boulevard, there'll be another community session regarding redistricting campaign. And also want to alert the community that in honor of the 10th anniversary of 9/11, there will be a motorcade that will be leaving Compton at 400 West Artesia Boulevard at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And they will be going on a 12,500-mile route over 43 states and going through a variety of cities in order to arrive in New York at the 10th anniversary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Parks. See another further announcements. I'd like to rise for adjourning motions on this Memorial Day weekend, which is the last Monday of the month in May. And as we do this, originally called Decoration Day, but the women of the South decorated both the graves of the North and the South soldiers, the women who started this tradition in America. Now we have this day of memorial, and I hope we remember R.J. Cottle as well as Officer Collins, who gave their life over the course of time, LAPD officers in service to this city on leave from LAPD earlier these months. Now I'd like to call on Ms. Hahn.
Thank you, colleagues. I would like us to adjourn today in the memory of Gary James Cox, who passed away peacefully in his sleep May 22nd. He was only 50 years old. He graduated from State University of New York with the BA in Communications in 1983. Then he moved to Southern California immediately after graduation to pursue his dream of working in television. And I wish Bill Rosendahl was here because I'm sure Bill and Gary knew each other. Gary did what Bill Rosendahl did, only in the Harbor area on Cox Communications, cable television. Gary hosted a public affairs forum. He hosted a couple of shows. One of them was called Lawmakers, where he invited various elected officials. Some of you might have even been on that show. I was on that show many times. Congress members were on it, state assembly members, state senators, local neighborhood council people, directors of some of our city departments were on that show. He really brought information to the community in a very relaxed way of really getting information out to people. Well, we don't have those shows anymore, and I know Bill lamented the loss of even his public affairs TV show. We don't really have those shows where the community can actually hear issues, not just sound bites, but a half-hour show on really important issues. Gary was just such a great host and was such a dedicated person to making sure that the harbor area particularly knew issues that related to port pollution, traffic. He just was such a great educator of people. He will always be remembered for his sense of humor, humility, love, and loyalty. I hadn't seen Gary for a while. He actually didn't have that job anymore because the cable shows, got rid of those. I just got reconnected with Gary a couple weeks ago. He actually was coming into my campaign headquarters, volunteering for my congressional campaign. So I got to see him again. We got to talk. We got to catch up. So I was absolutely stunned when I got the word that he had passed away in his sleep. My greatest, deepest sympathy goes to his beloved companion, Suzanne Chandler. He had two brothers, Craig and Kevin, two nieces, Kelsey and Lauren, aunts Vicki, Edna, Marge, and Jem, Uncle Tom, and many cousins, and countless cherished friends. His services will be held tomorrow, May 28th at 1 p.m. at Green Hills Chapel at Green Hills Memorial Park. Gary, you served such a great role for countless of viewers over the years. We will miss you very, very much. You certainly made your mark here on this earth.
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. I'd like to call on Ms. Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two adjourning motions, and on the first one, I'd like to ask all members to join me in adjourning in memory of Mark Danzler, who was the program director of Challengers Boys and Girls Club at 52nd and Vermont. Mark Danzler is the son of Lou Danzler and is one of the original members of Challengers Boys and Girls Club. His father founded the club with 12 boys, including Mark, in 1968 when Mark was just 6 years old. Mark grew up in the club and eventually decided to make Challengers his career after working in various other fields. After graduating in 1980 from John Marshall High School in Pasadena, he enlisted in the United States Army and became a telecommunications operator. After a 4-year stint in the military, he was honorably discharged and went to work for the Los Angeles Unified School District for 5 years, after which he took a job as a customer service representative for Southern California Edison. After 8 years at Edison, he decided to follow in the family business and started at Challengers in 1999. He started first as the radio program coordinator and was soon promoted to Challengers program director, a position he held until he passed away. And to his mother, Mrs. Lou Danzler, and his brother Corey, and his girlfriend Amber, I know that you join me in extending our sincere condolences. I'd like
all members saw that. Yeah. All members.
And my second one is in memory of Francis Carney, who died at the age of 89 years old. He died on May 23, 2011. He was born in the Bronx, New York, born in 1921, but grew up in Los Angeles. In 1943, Dr. Carney interrupted his studies at Stanford University to enlist in the Army Air Corps and became a radio operator on a C-47 troop transport plane, delivering relief to soldiers pinned down at the Battle of the Bulge, flying across the Rhine, and helping survivors out of the Buchenwald concentration camp. After the war, Dr. Carney received his Bachelor of Arts from the University of Southern California and his master's degree from Stanford University. In 1954, while still writing his dissertation in political science at UCLA, he accepted a position to teach at the newly created University of California at Riverside. In his career, he has had stops teaching at the UC campuses of Los Angeles, Berkeley, and Santa Cruz. 1977, Dr. Carney received a Distinguished Teaching Award from UC Riverside. His publication record includes such reputed journals as the New York Review of Books, The Nation, Ramparts, and Journal of Royal Institute of British Architects. He was also an active participant in politics, serving as the chair of the Robert F. Kennedy campaign in Riverside County, as well as being a champion of the civil rights movement in Riverside County. In 1994, he spent 9 months in Albania working on a Fulbright scholarship teaching basic principles of democracy. And for nearly 20 years, he had been hosting Jazz on Tuesday at KUCR, spinning jazz for local listeners, and he was married to Jane Carney, board member of South Coast Air Quality Management District. He will be sincerely missed.
Ms. Perry, thank you. Seeing no other adjourning motions, Mr. Clerk, call the roll.